What's up YouTube? Chris here from Student Scripture. Excited to be back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over one of my new firearms, which is the Shadow Systems MR920. Specifically, the California approved one. I'll get into the California approved detail in a few seconds, but anyways, went to my local gun shop, saw this in person, pretty much fell in love with it on the spot. It is essentially a Gucci Glock 19. But the way it felt, the way it just, the lightweight to it, I had to get one. So excited to show you guys that. I also did add, as you can see, a few extra items, such as some mag plates, ACRO P2, and then the Surefire X300 Ultra. So I'll go a little bit more in detail on that in a few. Anyways, California approved MR920. So what makes this California approved and what makes this different from the standard MR920? So Shadow Systems thankfully placed 2 items into the firearm. So they just incorporated a loaded chamber indicator, aka LCI, along with a magazine disconnect. What does that mean functionality wise? Well, as you can see here, okay, there is no visual way to tell if the firearm is loaded. Once I cock that guy back, load around in, as you can see, there is now this little metal tab that protrudes. So some California lawyers believe that that's going to help alleviate some crime and some accidental discharges. I don't know how. Any good firearm owner should treat every firearm as if it's loaded and don't play around with a firearm. Others disagree. So there's a crap ton of guns that are not on a roster because of that, along with the magazine disconnect. What does that mean? Well, as you can see, firearms loaded. However, if a magazine were to drop intentionally or unintentionally, I can no longer use the firearm. It's not operable. Good or bad? In my eyes, that's horrible. Why? I've had this happen, okay? Guilty, horrible admission, but on one of my range days, and I was doing a training for my initial CCW, drew my firearm because I was trying to meet a timed drill, grabbed it a little too tight, squeezed, I'm a lefty, so my finger got stuck, dropped the magazine, tried taking a shot, didn't go off. That was on my, I believe it was my Smith & Wesson. I forgot which one. But it didn't go off. And the instructor laughed at me and said, you squeezed it, you dropped your mag, it didn't shoot. I'm like, shit, you're right. So that sucked. But keep in mind, I was under distress, or not distress, but I was in a stressful environment, right? I was timed. I had, maybe call it tunnel vision, because I should have noticed my magazine drop, especially the weight difference. And I thought a round was gonna go off. It didn't. Imagine, waking up in the middle of the night, half awake, panic hits you, take out your firearm, you're a little startled, you're already a little, nervous, you accidentally dropped the mag. It's a pretty dangerous situation to be in if you have to use your firearm. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. Californians, some Californian laws makers, or lawyers decided that that's a good idea. Yeah, time will tell. But I don't like the thought of it. But anyways, that's on my firearm. So that's one, or those are the 2 items that make this California compliant. However, as you can see, now if I were to go ahead and insert the magazine, it's now operable. So that's what makes it California approved. Kind of going over the firearm now. It is essentially really a twin brother, or almost twin brother, let's call it fraternal brother, to a Glock 19. Very similar measurements. So lengthwise, it is 7 1/8. Height is going to be 4 3/4, and then the weight is going to be 1 pound and 5.3 ounces. So very, very lightweight firearm. It is also polymer, and trigger pull is going to be 4 to 4.5 pounds. Now this guy does come with a pretty cool barrel, so I do like that. Fluted barrel. I got the rose gold. I'm a huge fan of like the copper type of finishes, and this looks more copper than it does rose gold in my personal opinion. So really like that. It really looks similar to my Zev Hypercomp, so that's pretty cool. This is like a graphite gray, I'm gonna say, slide. In my eyes, it doesn't look like a true black, so I'm personally a big fan of that. And then let's see, it's got some cool night sights. I think these are True Glow. Let's see. Oh, night vision. So I do know that the tritium inside is pretty neat. So I have nothing to say other than positive comments on that so far. But yeah, essentially a Glock 19 brother. I am pretty impressed with it so far from just the aesthetics. It looks pretty cool. I like the flat trigger. It comes with a integrated, or not integrated, but it comes with a mag well. Also the back strap, you're able to go ahead and remove and add on different, I guess, sizes, swell sizes. So you could get a little bit more of a thinner profile. I think that's the maximum thick one, just because I feel like my hands glue onto it a little bit nicer. So yeah, anyways, going on to what I've added on. So, or actually before getting to that, I'll talk about how this firearm is optic ready. So it is multi-footprint. So you could add anything from a Trijicon RMR/SRO, Holosun 507. It also allows some Loophole Del Point Pro, Vortex Viper, TrueGlow TrueTech, etc. So that's pretty cool. So how did I add the ACRO? Well, I just got a RMR to ACRO, it's called Optic Plate. Let me see if I have it handy. I don't remember. I don't think I have it handy. I'm trying to look through one of my drawers here. I don't remember who makes it. I think it was C&H Precision. I will drop the link that I used down below. That way you guys could go ahead and see if any of you guys are interested. But first impressions off of the base plate it was pretty cool. It had a nice weight to it, felt sturdy, did its job. It had a really nice precision level fit. So I was pretty impressed by that. I have no concerns running optic plate as long as it seems like it's going to do the job and if it holds on. But anyways, one thing that my little gripe with it is that it's pretty darn thick. So what does that mean? Well, I cannot co-witness. All of my firearms with an optic they have co-witness. I usually aim for a quarter to a third of a co-witness. This does not allow me to co-witness. This is going to be strictly a range toy, so not too concerned, but I just always like having some backup sights. So that's a little unfortunate. The cool thing is that it is flat enough so that if I remove the optic plate, this does serve as essentially a slide cut cover. So I'm able to go ahead and run it without it if the optic were, for example, to shatter at the range. Obviously you need to have your tools handy. So a little unfortunate, but anyways, it's going to be a range toy, so not too concerned about not being able to co-witness. Along with that, I have a Surefire X300 Ultra. Why did I choose the Ultra instead of the newer Turbo? Well, along with being a range toy, I also do like having a proper weapon mount light that I can use for in-home usage also. Not saying that the Turbo can't be used for that, but it is an extremely high candela count, which I do like. I just wish the spill was a little bit more. This one has a really nice spill, not as much candela, but enough for a home defense use or even any use. The Turbo I feel like is more like for my rifle. I feel like it's as good as my Surefire rifle light and really cool on a rifle, but I just do not need that on my handgun. I feel like it's a little overkill for my use case. Obviously, any light is better than no light, and how often are you really going to shoot in the dark? Obviously none, but yeah, just out of me being just out of my own wants and desires, I like the Ultra a little bit more. Really good light. I have it on my other firearms, and it's always been an enjoyable light. So I wanted to stick to something that I'm used to. Just again, going after consistency. And then along with those two items, or technically three with Optic Plate, I also got some SLR magwells. These are really cool. So unfortunately in California, we're restricted to 10 round magazines. So I'm not able to use any, for example, Metgar, aluminum or steel magazines. So I would have loved to use that on this guy. Unfortunately, I can't. So I got some base plates that match the mag pull magazines. If anyone has a link or is able to source some metal magazines that would fit a Gen 3 or MR920. If you could please shoot those my way, I would be extremely grateful for that. I haven't been able to find any, so I don't know if any exist. But if you can find me some metal ones that are 10 round, that'd be really cool. So something I'm hunting for. But for now, have these add a little bit of extra weight. I do like having my magazines have a little bit of extra weight, just so if I eject, it falls a little bit smoother. So not that it didn't shoot out as quickly before, but that little extra weight just helps it drop nicer. So especially when I'm going for speed, it's able to fall a little bit quicker, which I enjoy. But yeah, guys, just a quick overview of the firearm. I'm really enjoying it so far. Looks really cool. I haven't taken it to the range yet, so just enjoying the aesthetics. I can't wait to take it out to the range. That's gonna be pretty cool. Gonna see how quick this guy is. And yeah, guys. If anyone has any questions or comments, please drop them down below. I feel like I'm getting a little bit quicker on responding to the comments, so hopefully I'm able to do a decent job at that. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm going to go ahead and send you guys out with a scripture. Today it's going to come from one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 91. Specifically, it's going to be Psalm 91:9. If you say the Lord is my refuge and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent, for he commands his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Thank you guys as always. God bless you, and I will see you on my next video. Have a good one.